Thanks so much for letting me be part of the conversation today. I prepared some remarks to read just so I can keep well under time, but I have a lot more information on my blog if folks want to look that up afterwards, and I'm looking forward to the larger discussion. So I'm talking about Davos. So we're speaking of elections, but also there are folks sort of behind the election. So that is my focus today, is what else is going on. We are living in tumultuous times with polarizing political theater and pandemic providing ample cover for the rollout of the fourth industrial revolution. From the World Economic Forum's outpost at San Francisco's Presidio, the tentacles of dispossession triggered by Klaus Schwab's Great Reset are rapidly encircling the globe. And we are witnessing the culmination of a century of machinations by Western social engineers. We are seeing predatory philanthropy use such euphemistic framing as living cities, healthy cities, resilient cities, and building back better to package the profoundly anti-human and anti-life activities coming out of Davos as aspirational goals for smart living. The oligarch class asks us to play along with them and overlook the fact that all of this smartness rests on a foundation of continued growth, fossil fuel expansion, child labor, toxic waste, and space pollution. They demand that we overlook the insatiable energy requirements needed to run the augmented reality Internet of Things illusion, and that we put out of our minds the existence of the vast data centers cooled 24/7 with the water of a thirsty and poisoned world. They've outdone themselves propagandizing youth to cheer on transnational global capital's plans to implement a final green solution. Though my hope is that after months of digital alienation, people's spirits will stir in time to derail the intentions of the cruel biocapitalist regime, ready to push us away from our rightful connections to natural systems and one another and into isolated virtual realms. The spell of faux ICT, individual communication technology sustainability must be broken. Predatory debt finance has gotten a spit and polish makeover, rebranded as circular economies and now stakeholder capitalism to make it more palatable. Post-COVID, poverty mining enterprises will emerge from the ashes, and smart sensor networks, predictive policing, and public-private partnerships will latch onto shell-shocked families trying to pick up the pieces. And while Bitcoin-loving agorists dream of liberation on blockchain, central bankers have entirely different envisioned things in mind. They are conjuring a future of data flowing through digital wallets, fuel for an emergent social impact economy, one that has been carefully plotted out for third sector and now fourth sector implementation by social finance and Sir Ronald Cohen, Harvard Business School graduate and father of UK venture capital. So Bloomberg Philanthropies, digital innovation project in the Global Parliament of Mayors based out of The Hague, will ensure that GovTech and open data platforms are ready to deliver all the data these markets need. Conveniently, a new operating system for government developed by Neil Kleiman of NYU's GovLab and Stephen Goldsmith of Harvard Kennedy School's Data Smart City Solutions will permit politicians of all stripes to deftly shift accountability for devastating policies onto faceless cadres of analysts. Data dashboards have proven effective weapons in swaying populations conditioned for compliance. It is difficult to effectively direct public sentiment against something as ephemeral as an algorithm. The war on terror has been swapped for pandemic preparedness, which could work out well for the World Bank's efforts to grow their vaccine and pandemic bond markets. Now we all pose threats to state security simply by living in a human body. Robot police dogs, drones, facial recognition cameras, wearable sensors, and biometric tracking are now framed as vital investments needed to keep communities safe in what is rapidly becoming a global open-air prison. Track and trace free-range humans, look to industrial farming, look to wildlife management, look to Gaza, look to the Commons Project. Common Pass is not their only venture, not by a long shot. It is not just air travel that Rockefeller Foundation and the World Economic Forum intend to regulate. In their imagined future, presentation of tokenized credentials will be required to go to work, to school, to the store, to access public buildings and events. Such micromanagement was unfathomable a mere months ago, at least to everyone not in on the scheme. And so when we speak of politics, when we speak of citizens' rights, this is the game changer. Who voted in Common Pass? Who decided individual liberties will now be governed by apps advanced by corporate interests that stand to profit from population control? How relevant will national borders be in an age of real-time geofencing? Past laws have long been used to control targeted populations on Indian reservations, in Nazi Germany, in Palestine, in apartheid South Africa. And now we have CERCO, now we have legal discrimination based on health status. In this global biosecurity state, on any given day, the border could very well end up being your own front door. And so if we don't object, moving forward, blockchain tokens representing all sorts of digital assets, including rights and privileges, will be held in digital accounts. Social entrepreneurs need these biometric identity systems in place in order to install their planned impact economy. Using health status as an issue of national security, our hijacked governments plan to impose this upon us, not for our own good, but because the biocapitalist agenda must proceed. And few realize it, but the COVID drama is providing cover for a far more insidious program of perpetual tracking and tracing tied to health management and Sustainable Development Goal 3. Health data is creating new equity markets, meaning more and more wearable health tech surveillance. The impact management projects practitioners, the asset holders whose greed led to a world beset by chronic illness, have structured new profit centers in Internet of Things preventative care, social determinants of health weaponized. What we are living through is not a public health emergency, but a reset of the global economy managed from Davos on behalf of the finance, technology, and defense sectors. This new normal is totalitarianism wrapped in a shiny green bow. So the post-COVID world will be characterized by a welfare dependency on a scale heretofore unimaginable, justifying the creation of innovative new human capital debt products. Portfolios of people, poor people, will emerge as a new asset class enabled by pay-for-success government contracts. Education, training, healthcare, counseling, nutrition, housing services, all aligned to the UN Sustainable Development Goals to generate the metrics needed to satisfy contractual obligations and financial dealings. The richness of life narrowed to fit the stingy confines of a data analyst's worldview. This is a diagram featuring a digital wallet where food assistance funds are stored on blockchain with coded nudges guiding a recipient's food purchase behaviors. The state of Illinois Blockchain Task Force developed this thought experiment, but similar digital food payment programs are in place managing dispossessed people. The UK company IrisGuard is a major player in this space. Additionally, the NHS has made arrangements to purchase DNA nudge bands tied to COVID testing, regulating food choices. It makes you wonder where the DNA from the testing is going, doesn't it? Likely into an academic tech transfer hub. Such is biocapitalism. And so the stakeholder capitalists cannot profitably mine poverty without biometric identification that will be used to aggregate all the interoperable data in smart environments. And vaccine registries will be key to rolling out this program. Gavi is a major player with Gates sitting at the pinnacle of the stakeholder capitalist pyramid. ID 2020 efforts running through the United Nations will ensure no one gets left behind, but few are aware that the US Department of Homeland Security bankrolled much of the World Wide Web Consortium's work in the digital identity space. And so as I prepared these remarks today, I couldn't help but mull over the intelligence community's interest in signals intelligence, weaponized narrative, simulation, predictive modeling, and social contagion. How will our collective voices today ripple through this militarized cloud architecture into the general consciousness and beyond? Such are the thoughts that haunt the corners of a Zoom consciousness. Bluffdale and the NSA, always out on the horizon, you know. But those of us with eyes to see have the duty to speak. And so I am here today as a mother. I am here as a mapper of geographies of power, as a voracious LinkedIn profile reader and a viewer of obscure government webinars. I'm here as a resident of Philadelphia, a smart city set up for predatory, what works, data-driven government. I'm here to shine light on municipal nudge units funded by self-interested foundations seeking to replace civil servants with apps that manage citizens as agents in behavioral economic equations. I am here as a human relative among a multitude of non-human beings on this beautiful earth that has not yet been remade as a planetary computer for social impact investors. And I am here as a lover of stars who opposes the weaponization of space, the atmosphere, and our weather systems. And I'm here as a voice for peace who views 5G and the planned 6G installations as a domestic military occupation. I am here to speak of Davos's plans to deny us the opportunity to atone communally for and begin to remedy the devastation capitalism has wrought against nature and indigenous people. And I am here because we have entered a cyborg era in which sociopathic billionaires and defense contractors want to fundamentally alter what it means to be human, tapping nanotechnology and morally bankrupt scientists to do their dirty work. To the wealth hoarders, the masses exist as nodes in the internet of bodies, nodes that must be separated from the cosmic dance through force of law, hydrogel biosensors, and blockchain. Will you own the ledger or will the ledger own you? We are looking at a future where the masses will forfeit their innate human freedoms in exchange for behavioral currency needed to survive within their panopticon. Human capital bonded, each life calculated according to its perceived burden on the coming robot society, at least in the eyes of hedge fund traders as they place their bets. Don't worry, there's safety on the continuum of care pathway. Just do as you're told and keep your social credit score where it needs to be. Every move in every country advancing lockstep, a playbook aligned to strategic investments made over decades by philanthrocapitalists like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Pierre Omidyar, Steve Ballmer, and Mark Benioff. Will human rights mean anything once financiers, faith community endowments, health insurers, pensions, and even sovereign wealth funds hold our futures in escrow? Rockefeller Foundation funded think tank change agents have cleared the way for life to be railroaded into virtual space for our own good, for the good of the planet, in service of the World Bank's One Health initiative. So the oligarchs will use the UN Sustainable Development Goals to justify imprisoning the planet and humanity using sensor networks. And once the electrical engineers have nature and humanity firmly in their grip, transnational global capital will channel its concentrated wealth through our bodies, our social relationships, and our non-human kin. And as we stand on this threshold, questions must be asked. Who intends to rule life on Earth? To what end? And on whose authority? John Trudell, leader of the American Indian movement, poet, and prophetic voice, has expressed that it is our responsibility to use the intelligence gifted to us by the Creator to be thinkers and to go up against the machine of techno-logic. And so I am here today on behalf of women of the world to say that we do not consent to Davos's fourth industrial revolution. And in this battle of sacred and profane, we stand ready to defend the children and the earth from further predation and to strive towards a future of reciprocity and abundance and spirit. And we stand firm in our power, full of love and light, ready to face off against Klaus Schwab's pharmacolonial technocracy of necromancers. And that's it.